You said you were entertained by that clip that we showed with Ronda and Becky and Charlotte.
Yeah.
Will you watch the main event?
No.
You won't watch the main event? You said you wanted to see it. You said you wanted to see them fight.
No, I mean, I'm sure somebody will like rip it off YouTube and I'll watch
That's
like
what I
10
meant.
seconds of it.
Oh, you won't watch the actual match?
No.
Oh, you turned on me.
No,
You looked
I mean,
like you're
I don't-
for
But it's
one.
also a lot of footage before and after the match that
Yeah,
people
no.
watch, and like
I mean,
so it's like watching it as a whole event is different than
Oh, I just meant the match.
watching.
I just meant the
like,
match itself.
yeah.
Because we'll probably play clips on here. You can watch some of the clips.
I mean,
Probably.
Mostly.
You know, I mean, I'll be on here Monday and I'll watch the clips. It's fine. I mean, I'm not gonna. First of all, I'm not gonna pay for WrestleMania.
No. I wouldn't say you'd do that,
yeah.
but I would. But like I said,
I'm not going to support Vince McMahon in any way, shape, or form. So I'd rather support somebody that rips it from him off YouTube for free.
But you're not supporting just him, though. You are supporting those, unfortunately, freelance.
Yeah.
You're paying their.
I
bills.
understand that,
Yeah.
but if less people stop watching, and we say as a people, "Hey Vince, we're not going to continue to watch wrestling until you provide a retirement fund, provide better health care, provide mental illness, preparation, provide all of this stuff, a pension for the former wrestlers, make them salaried employees, give them health care." We shouldn't watch wrestling.
Well, you know what they said though too.
I mean, but that's the same case for a lot of big movie studios and all the things.
Yeah, I think that there's.
I understand that, but actors aren't dying at an alarming rate.
Right.
Actresses
Yeah, but
aren't
not
dying at an
actors.
alarming
But
rate.
I'm just saying, and obviously it's a different thing with sports and athletes. But also, I mean, the little people that work on the crew for studios and things like that are also don't get treated the best.
A lot of times, but a lot of times that's why they have unions, and that's what wrestling should have.
Well, they reached out. I don't know where we are in this now, but Satin was on. He told us they reached out to John Oliver and invited him to WrestleMania.
Yeah.
To have him kind of walk behind the scenes and learn more about the company because they said that he was completely misinformed with a lot of the stuff they were saying. And they invited him. I don't know if he took the invite. I have no idea. That's something that
he probably will.
I would assume so.
Because as far as I know, he usually tries to make sure that his stuff is legit. So I'm sure he would go back and do more research.
Well, if you put someone on blast,
his people can't.
Yes, if you put someone on blast like that, the way that he did in a clip that went viral, right? And the company who you blasted reaches out and says, "We want you to be more informed. Come to our thing." You should go because even if you feel afterwards that they haven't shown you shit, at least you can say that. But if he doesn't go, his report, and I love the report, his report goes down in value to me because that's the company saying, no, we want to show you and teach you about it, and then you can report on it however you want. But the invite's open. If he doesn't show up, it's going to...
It still doesn't take away the fact that Vince McMahon does not provide half of this stuff to his wrestlers.
But it takes away from the fact that what is the actual information?
Why are the wrestlers coming out and giving him the information if they're... Why?
What wrestlers? You mean
It's
like
CM Punk?
Well, CM Punk, again, look, I'm playing devil's advocate on both because if you watch the clip, I was on the side of the same thing that you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
But I'd like to have all of the information again because I'm probably going to be on the same side if John Oliver goes to this thing, comes out and says, yeah, they gave me a lot of the way that they're taken care of, but it doesn't take away from the fact that they're still freelance.
Right.
It doesn't take away from that there's no union. And I'll be like, yeah, you're right. But
The Russians have invited us over to look at their nuke sites, and they're just like, everybody's happy.
But what I'm
look
saying-
at us. Hey, wrestlers, put on a smile or you're out. I'm Vince McMahon. I'm fucking Hitler.
But the Russians aren't inviting us over to take a look at everything.
Yes, they are.
No, but it's not legit.
Dude,
to give
look
an
at the UN.
explanation.
Look at the UN. The UN.
This is a
go to
Friday
these things.
episode.
Yeah, but
It's fucking bogus. Vince McMahon's been an asshole forever.
I'm not disagreeing with you. What I'm telling you is that you have. Like,
He's the most garbage of the garbage people.
But look, and what you do a lot is if you hear it right away, it's like and there's enough of a fact, you go, yep, that's it, because you don't know everything about it yet. Because the same thing, I'm on the side that I think that all this stuff John Oliver
For
said.
30 years.
I'm with you, but what I'm saying is if the invite wasn't open, I'm going to go, look, they're not even acknowledging this thing. And John Oliver, keep going
but
after
his
him.
people are smart. They usually do their research. They probably
someone
will more.
should go, or
Yes,
someone
they
should go from his show, and then I want to see a follow up report because it's got a lot of notice, and he should have gotten.
They've
this kind
done
of
that in the
notice.
past where like they touched on certain topics and like months later they'll go back to it.
Right.
Yeah, but rarely is it wrong. If ever in the history of the show, and I've seen every episode, rarely is it wrong.
Right.
He may have missed like one mini detail. Like people have been attacking
But
me about.
the scope of the story is usually correct.
It's correct.
Yeah.
The wrestler's death is for real.
No,
these are facts.
And I agree. But like I said, I want to hear what their explanation is and what steps. Because what if they say?
But what if you do hear that everything is okay, great, like what you said.
Yes.
Okay, but they're still freelancers, right? Great. Like
and there's no movement on union, and there's no movement on health insurance.
So what are you going to think after that?
Then I'm going to even think more into this John Oliver report.
And
being legit.
Are you gonna keep supporting it? Are you gonna does that change it at all?
Because the problem with not supporting the wrestling is as far as if you're a fan, right? Because what you're then doing is these people that you want to get health insurance for, and these people that you want to get more benefits, you're cutting off their support.
Right, but it's interesting with big companies, they all work that way, right?
Yeah.
Where they give more money to the higher ups and don't treat the little people as well.
Right.
And
right.
so that's unfortunate. That it sucks. It's horrible. So how do we change that other than via not supporting it, right? Other than via not giving these companies money.
I'd love to find out if somebody like...
I want to bring, what Brad Gilmore is watching right now, who just texted. He's obviously really very into his part of reality wrestling. Booker T works with Booker T. Hey, if Brad can call in, let's have him call in. Shit, that's a problem with Riley not having a phone. I keep trying to text him numbers, but I'm like, I can't do that.
I would love to get somebody like a Kathy Kelly on the line as well, to see if, as an on-screen personality who hosts shows for them, does she get a salary? Does she get health insurance?
Right.
I would like to know that.
So this is what,
because if she does, and she's not risking her body night in and night out.
Well, this is what Brad says. Brad said that independent contractors is one thing. That's a definite, and we all agree on that. The deaths aren't totally on Vince's hands. The deaths themselves are not. If you think, I mean, they
risk their bodies night in, night out. They get addicted to painkillers by doctors that aren't approved by the WWE. If the doctors were approved by the WWE and they were going through and they're like, listen, the health insurance is provided by WWE. These are board certified doctors that we have approved, and we have approved of a payment plan or a pill plan or whatever the case may be. And listen, nobody's innocent on this. U.S. soldiers get provided pills all day, all the time, and they get addicted to painkillers. The problem is that at least there's some sort of an insurance backup here with the U.S. government. It might not be the best, but there's at least somewhere for them to go. It's shitty, I know it is, but at least there's somewhere for them to kind of go. Yeah. At least try. The WWE, the CM Punk story is absolutely disgusting.
When it came to the Jesse Ventura, who wanted to unionize a long time ago, right? And that's in the report as well.
Totally.
I am still saying there should be a union for wrestlers. I mean, it just should. It's just, and the independent contractors is absolutely ridiculous. And I really want to see their explanation. That's why I'm so curious for this guy who I thought his report was so good and it was coming from a fan's point of view. I want to hear what they say to him, because they're saying, we're going to inform you. Mm-hmm. We're going to let you know of everything. Are they working on a union? Probably not. Mm-hmm. But are they what are they doing? Are they making steps? Because maybe they're making steps that we don't know about.
How much of that?
Do you really think that though?
No, I think it's probably no. The answer is probably not. I think they're probably. Trying to cover up, not cover up. That's not the word. The damage control.
Right.
They're trying to do damage control, and let's see how they're able to. Can they sell John Oliver? If they sell John Oliver, then as I listen to him going, okay, look, I was wrong about this, I was wrong with that, or he can come and go, no, there was nothing from my report that I don't think, if not even more so now. But I think that it is a missed opportunity to say, we're going to give you some more information. Come on to this big event, and if he doesn't go, is there any news, Cody, as far as if John Oliver actually took up that invite?
There's $930 million in revenue.
Yeah.
That he's not giving any of that to help wrestlers on the back end. It's $930 million.
There's how many in the news, not just with sports, how many giant tech companies have they've been in the news where you don't even know what I'm going to say. You with me? What? Zoobly zoo. So how many big companies, thank you, Cody, I was waiting for it, are actually paying out people millions of dollars with exit packages when they get fired for sexual harassment, and yet they have 50% of their workforce is contractors that don't have benefits and things like that. This is a systemic problem, right? It's not just the WWE, right?
Systemic is one thing.
So how do we? No, and I'm not saying
these are the faces of the franchise. These are what making your money.
So how do we change it?
It's
is my point.
There.
How do we fix the problem?
invites HBO's John Oliver to WrestleMania.
Do you know what Builder Beaver went through? Put his body through every day for that show. Nothing.
All right, let's see. Is that from Pro Wrestling Sheet? Yeah. So they invited him. A rep from the WWE sent the following statement to Pro Wrestling Sheet, and it says, zoom in just a little bit, please. And it says, John Oliver is clearly a clever and humorous entertainer. However, the subject matter covered in his WWE segment is no laughing matter. Prior to airing, WWE responded to his producers, refuting every point in his one-sided presentation. John Oliver simply ignored the facts. The health and wellness of performers is the single and the most important aspect of our business, and we have a comprehensive, long-standing talent wellness program.
It sounds like a lot of BS.
But see, hold on. We invite John Oliver to attend WrestleMania this Sunday to learn more about our company. You can see that's unfair to say right away. Are they maybe doing damage control? Maybe, but they said they reached out before the thing even came out to refute so he can learn more about it, and they still aired it.
Yeah, but you can. If you could come in and I could be like, "Hey, listen, Christian's a racist. He's a sexist. He's a misogynist." You'd be like, "No. That's all WWE has to say is like, no, that's not true. No, that's not true."
Of
if
course
they don't have factual backup.
Of course they're going to deny.
But maybe
yes.
no.
Yeah,
So you don't know if they have. That's the whole thing. You don't know if they have factual backup. That's the whole reason they're inviting him, because it says we invite John Oliver to attend WrestleMania to learn more about our company.
Or that's what they're saying because they think he's not going to go.
let him in?
Yeah,
Yes.
no, or they think he's not going to go.
But what if he?
So that's what they're just saying. That, like you said, like damage control.
All right, hey, so joining us right now from Reality of Wrestling, he's the host of the Schmodown Rundown with Frankie Numbers on Saturdays. It is Brad Gilmore. Brad, what's up, brother?
Hey, what's going on, Christian?
So, man, I heard you. I mean, you texted. Obviously, you know a lot. You're part of your business is obviously wrestling. You're in it. You're with the 5-time champ Booker T. You're hearing Makuga's kind of thoughts on these things, and what's your overall thoughts, and what say you?
Well, here's my thing. I saw the John Oliver thing. It was actually Frank who texted it to me, and I sat there and watched all 25 minutes, 30 minutes of it, and he made a lot of great points, and I was with him on the independent contractor thing. That's a whole separate issue. But when he started getting into the deaths, that is where there was a swing and a miss. He talks about guys like Macho Man Randy Savage. This is a guy who, after his WWE career, got jacked on all kinds of different things, and then he ended up having a heart attack and crashing into a tree. I don't know if that's Vince McMahon's fault. Roddy Piper, God love him, loves Hot Rod. I saw him 30 days before he passed away. But he had a lot of demons and abuse of different kind of illicit substances outside of wrestling. And then John Oliver, you talk about Owen Hart. And that's where a lot of people make a big mistake. Owen Hart, he had a tragic death in wrestling. He fell, but that wasn't because there wasn't health care. That wasn't because he was an independent contractor. That's because it was a mistake. I think that to cast this shadow that Vince McMahon is this evil Russian dictator, as Josh was just kind of saying a minute ago, is so far off base. He gives these guys incredible opportunities to go out there and make more money than they ever could doing anything else. Should they have health care? Absolutely. And right now, WWE has taken so many steps to make sure the guys of today, this generation, are taken care of. But to go back to the guys from the past, it was more of what was going on in the industry at the time. This was the 1980s. Cocaine was rampant everywhere. It wasn't just in wrestling. It was everywhere. And the guys of today, in the locker room today, they don't abuse those substances. They're playing video games. They're not worried about partying, drinking, and doing drugs. So I just think it's a little unfair to say, Vince, you're to blame for all these guys' deaths when they have to have personal responsibility for their actions outside of the shows.
You don't think that all the concussions, all the personal injuries, all those things that they weren't provided for because they were constantly hurt, that by having better health care, we could have avoided a lot of this by like mental health. A look at, I mean, listen, the NFL's to blame, and John Oliver even brought up the NFL and what they did in the 80s and 90s. And listen, I agree with you. The fast living lifestyle of a guy like Ric Flair or whoever is maybe not what they do today. But don't you think that Vince McMahon is somewhat to blame for creating this monopoly and then just saying it's his road or the high road? No maternity leave, no having a baby you get to spend. Like, there is a lot of things in these contracts now that they're proof. They're written in the contracts that make him look like a scumbag for treating his wrestlers, who are the face of the franchise, who the franchise isn't anything without them, making them pay for their own travel, pay for their own hotel. You don't think that Vince McMahon should be responsible for a lot of that?
I think you're talking about the contracts, the independent contractor side. I think that's a whole separate debate than blaming the deaths of people who abuse steroids, alcohol, and other drugs.
They wouldn't have been as big in the WWE without the steroids. You got to look beefy. You got to look buffed. If the WWE had said
that's true, look at the main event for WrestleMania. Only have 3 women who none of which abuse steroids, and then the WWE Championship matches between 2 guys who weigh 160 pounds soaking wet and are 5'8" and 5'10". That was a whole different business back in the day. Back in the day, the wrestling industry had a lot of problems. The market has corrected itself. The WWE has corrected itself, and they even offer, even if you spent 1 minute working for WWE and you have an alcohol or drug problem, they will completely pay for your rehab, 100% on the company. Even if you only had 1 match with them, they are taking steps. Are they a perfect company? No. Is Vince McMahon doing everything that he possibly can at this moment? I don't think so, but I do agree that John Oliver should go there and see all the steps that they are taking, because at any time in the history of wrestling, this is the time that people are being taken care of the absolute most. He used footage from 2003 of Vince McMahon, 2003 of Roddy Piper. That's 16 years ago. So much has changed in this industry, and these guys are taken care of way more now than they ever have been. Are there still steps to take? Absolutely. Can they improve on it? Absolutely. But my big thing is this. I agree on the independent contractor, but we cannot blame what guys did in their personal lives on Vince McMahon. The blood cannot solely be on his hands for that.
You mentioned that the organization is taking steps to make things better for people. What are these steps that they're currently actually changing, that, or what is changing in the organization that is going to help these problems, go at a lower rate?
And do you think that they should be taking care of these older guys, even if they were in trouble? Do you think they should be taking care of them because
like the Jake the Snakes?
Yes, yeah.
And they do, especially through the rehab process. Now, Jake's, injuries, I know that he had to have crowdfunded, and it was able to, they were able to get that done. But to answer Doreena's question, the steps, now I don't work for WWE, I'm just a fan, but obviously Booker T, who's worked there for 20 plus years, has a lot of insight. But this one thing I do know, they were ahead of everybody else on the concussion protocols. They had a guy who wrestled for them in the early 2000s, Chris Nowinski, who's a Harvard graduate, and now he has his Nowinski Institute that focuses strictly on concussions and the effects of concussions. He works with the NFL as well. WWE was so far in advance of the concussion. If they suspect that you have a concussion, you're not being put on television. They're stopping matches. Back in the day, if you got your bell rung or even if you broke your arm, the match would continue. Now there's a ringside doctor who says, we're stopping this match. Even if it's on live TV, even if it's the main event of a pay-per-view, they don't allow that kind of stuff to happen anymore.
And this is my point, but this is my point, is the fact that, because like what I think Brad said very well, was that there's a lot of facts that John Oliver gave from like 2002, 2003 that were exactly a big problem, the issue that you had. But if there are these steps that Brad is saying, if all these particular steps that were not mentioned in that report, if that is the case, and John Oliver, and we're not talking about like he said, we're not talking about the freelance stuff. That's a totally other conversation. But if John Oliver goes and finds out all this information that Brad's talking about here, and finds out even more stuff that Brad doesn't know, and comes back into that report, that'll change your perspective, that'll change my perspective, that'll change a lot of perspectives, and that's why I think it's important that he goes. But Brad, because his show's only an hour, unfortunately, we can't keep this conversation going, so I would like to get you back on when this comes back up, and thank you very much for joining us. Make sure you can hear Brad. Obviously, he's got his show on ESPN with Booker T in Houston, and you can hear him and see him on the Schmodown Rundown every Saturday on the Schmodown channel. It's Hall of Fame, the ESPN show with him and Booker T. Brad, thank you so much for calling in, man. We'll do it again.
Yeah.